Hello, everybody. Hope everybody had a great week. Just want to recap my chart for this week ending January 18th. Notice I ended on a Friday because I don't weigh in on Saturday, Sunday. All right, we want to look back, first of all, at the second week. I ended up with my low for that week of 211, and that's starting from a high of 220 this year. As far as the line in the sand, remember, to have a line in the sand, I had to weigh in 5 times in a row. Oops, I got to get my graph over a little bit. I had to weigh in 5 times in a row, and I did that on there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I 215 is my line in the sand, and that was 5 pounds less than the 220 for 208, and it's 18 pounds less than my line in the sand at 27 and 07. Now, remember last week I had 2 world record breakers on Monday and then on Wednesday. Okay, so this week came back to, actually I had a good Monday, which sometimes that isn't the case, especially when you have a week where you break the record twice. In other words, you have 2 lower lows 2 days of the week, which I did last week. And sometimes that makes the Mondays, at least for me, hard because I celebrate a little bit too much on the weekend. But I didn't. I came in at 213, and again, my new line in the sand was 215, and so that was okay. So then, on Tuesday, I weighed 212, and then here was something really interesting is on Wednesday, my exercise, and again, we have to move to lose. And that's really, I think movement throughout the day is a lot more important than our dieting. I don't think we're overeating as much as we're under-moving, the couch potato syndrome, I guess. On Wednesday, it was horrible. I went to work, did my workout, and I just could not hardly do my 5 miles. It was just painful. And for me, I keep track of my personal best, but I always try to do 10-minute miles. So for me to get done 5 miles, I get done 50 minutes. But on real bad days, I know if my body is cycling through, then I'll do 11-minute miles. So I guess the maximum time I want to spend is 55 minutes, and actually that's what happened on Wednesday. And I just barely got that, and that's how your body does. When you're dieting, some weeks it's just so easy. Your willpower is so strong, so easy, bam, you can just cut through. Other weeks, it isn't. Your willpower's not too good. Maybe in this case, my physical cycle just wasn't very good on Wednesday. And it was really hard for me to get my 5 miles in. But as you can see, it paid to keep at it, even though it was so hard to do that.
It's 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, thank you. Even though it was so hard to get that 5 miles in, it raised my metabolism enough, and I got weighed in at 209, so that was a new world record, so I celebrated that. And then Thursday, 209, Friday, 210. And so there's a lot to celebrate this week. My 220 pounds starting on January 1 of 08, and it's 19 pounds lighter than my January 1 of 07. So that's good to celebrate. All right, so I'm keeping track of that. Notice over here in the low column, I put in my low weight for the week, which was 209. This is the line that we'll be graphing later on. All right, another thing that I like to keep over here, this is the weight and the percentages, because let's go on down and I'll show you. And here's the negative part. All right, started at right now. My line in the sand is 214, and notice it's not in green. Why is it not in green? Because if you remember, I was further along in 207. So my line in the sand is 214, but let's go back here and look at 207. At the end of 207, right here. Here's the end of 207. At the end of 207, well, let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks before the end of 207, I was 29 pounds under my my highest weight I've ever weighed, 230, when my line in the sand was 204. Now, during the Thanksgiving and Christmas week, I lost some of that, and I went up to my line in the sand at 207. That's why it was in red. All right. So again, in 207, my lowest line in the sand was 204. I lost a little bit of it at the end of the year, went to 207, and right now it's at 214. And so that's what a lot of folks on their diets would say, well, what kind of diet is this, Larry? You've backtracked a lot, but this is just a normal thing during the Christmas, Thanksgiving deal. You know, it's always a battle. Your weight goes up, and then we get back into that groove. But if you look at this negative stuff, you might say, well, forget it. I'm never going to get down to the weight I want to. But here's what you want to do. Instead of looking at the negative stuff, look at this. Week 3, here's my weigh-ins. 213, 214, 209, 209.8, 210. All right? Well, let's look at my third week in 207 and just see how that compares. All right. So let's go to the third week, 225, 220, 219, 223, 224. So you can see, compared week to week, my third week in January compared to this third week in January of 08, it's significantly better. Now let's look at the line in the sand. My line in the sand at the end of the third week in 07 was 226. That was my line in the sand. And what's my line in the sand now? After 3 weeks, there it is, 214. That's 12 pounds less. So my line in the sand as of the end of the third week of 08 was 12 pounds better than my third week of 07. So that's a lot to celebrate. And spreadsheet, and I'll look it over. That'd be great. However I can help you, I'd be glad to. All right, you guys, celebrate what happened this week. Whatever, just celebrate, but don't celebrate too much, because I'm telling you, those bad Mondays are really, really, really hard. Luckily, I had a good Monday, so actually I've had 2 good Mondays in a row. Oh, by the way, let's think about that. If you have 2 Mondays in a row, 3 Mondays in a row, 4 Mondays in a row, eventually you're going to have a bad one. So it's just kind of the way the body cycles. If you look here in 2007, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row very good, and then 2 Black Mondays, and then a good one. Then I went on my snowboard trip, had a good one. Was doing some vacationing, had a bad one, good, and that's how it goes. So you can't have good Mondays in 26 weeks in a row. It's just not going to happen. All right, you guys have a good day, and be sure and make a comment in the blog so I can know how things are going.